Welcome back to Kentucky Newsmakers here on WKYT. 2 years ago, the Tea Party was very visible across the country and here in Kentucky with rallies and events that called for smaller government and a wide range of other mainly conservative goals. Now the 2012 presidential and congressional elections are less than 3 months away and the Tea Party seems a little less visible. But Tea Party advocates point to a win by one of their endorsed candidates over an established candidate in Texas this week and the defeat of longtime Indiana Republican Senator Richard Lugar as evidence the movement is alive and effective. Tea Party activists are bringing both of Kentucky's U.S. senators to the state capitol this month on the health care issue. And joining us is political strategist David Adams, who remains committed to Tea Party causes, and he joins us this morning. Thanks for coming, David.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Where does the Kentucky Tea Party movement stand today?
I think that the efforts to fight against us, to shut us up, have really enhanced our ability to function in the state. So there's been a great effort to shut us up and keep us quiet, and I think that's helped us quite a bit.
Would you say that's largely what we say mainstream party people versus those who want to push the party toward the Tea Party issues? They're
kind of coming at us, it's kind of a sandwich approach. They're coming at us from the left. The Democratic Party clearly doesn't like what the Tea Party is doing, and then a lot of the more moderate established Republicans don't either. So they keep talking bad about us, and the more they talk about us, it kind of kicks us up, kicks our profile up.
Do you cite the success of Ted Cruz in Texas as evidence of continuing national strength for the Tea Party movement?
Sure, and not only that. I mean, we're going to have as a still very young movement, we're going to have election wins and losses. The Cruz win was a big one with those same dynamics at play. With and the Democrats now very predictably are saying that this is great for them. That it's the Tea Party is now Mitch McConnell's problem. And they're going to continue to do that, but we're heartened by what we see.
Is the Tea Party as organized as it was 2 years ago when there were all those rallies and events going on and frequent media appearances and that kind of thing? Is it more a sleeper this time?
I don't. I'm not going to challenge that characterization.
Maybe I would say not as loud as it was 2 years ago. Fair?
Perhaps no, and that's fine. A lot of what we're doing is more behind the scenes, getting deep into the legislative process and affecting real change, rather than perhaps as an accompaniment to the earlier stage of doing large, loud rallies.
And I want to talk some issues with you in a second, but there was strong support for Thomas Massie in northern Kentucky in that congressional primary that he came out on top of. And is he likely to have a strong future in the Tea Party movement in this state?
Not only in the state, but nationally. Thomas Massie is the real deal. People should really be checking him out and pay attention to him as an individual and the way that he carries the message forward. He is a future superstar, there's no doubt.
Do you think he is potentially a candidate to challenge Senator Mitch McConnell in the 2014 Republican primary?
That's a great question, and we're a ways off from that. I think that that a lot of different things will have to happen between now and 2014. Some of those things are very likely to happen, and others are not so likely. So it's a little premature to answer that with a lot of specificity. But yeah, I'd say stay tuned to Thomas's activities for sure.
Is it leverage that the Tea Party advocates can use to ensure that Senator McConnell adheres more closely to your set of issues?
You better believe it. Sure, no doubt about it. In fact, that's all these dynamics are in place, that have not escaped Senator McConnell's attention by any stretch. He's had a presence, even though he hasn't appeared at rallies. He's had, we've gone to a lot more behind the scenes, closed door meetings, and he's had his staffers at those meetings quite regularly throughout the state.
Now, he and Senator Paul are coming to an event you're holding in the third week of August, right?
August 21st at 11:30 a.m. at the state capitol on the front steps. We'll have a rally sponsored by the Tea Party groups throughout the state. And Senator Mitch McConnell and Senator Rand Paul will be speaking. Yes, sir.
Now, health care is the main focus of that rally, as I understand it.
Yes.
And is that at this point, at this flashpoint in this national campaign, the most important or most visible issue that the Tea Party is focused on?
It's certainly the most visible. I would say that, in my opinion, it is the most important because the partisan argument on health care is pretty unsatisfying right now. We hear from the Democrats, we need to keep going, you know, the law is great, we need to keep going with this, and obviously beyond it. And the Republicans are kind of boxed in saying repeal it, repeal it, repeal it, and even some of them are saying repeal and replace, but not getting into specifics with that. The Tea Party movement as a political entity can really fight for true health freedom and reintroducing free market activities into the healthcare industry.
And I understand that one of those issues you have that is in Kentucky, for instance, there is a healthcare proposal that it would currently be forbidden by state law
Right.
to enact.
Right. Interestingly, in the Obamacare law, Senator Chuck Grassley from Iowa stuck some language in there allowing and actually exempting from the Obamacare mandates something called religious sharing organizations. And now it limits them. There are only 3 such organizations that fit the federal exemption. They're Christian Care Medi-share, Christian Healthcare Ministries, and Samaritan Ministries. And Kentucky, as it just so happens, has been in court for a decade trying to shut off the largest one of those, Christian Medi-share. And has been a very odd struggle. And I think that there's a kernel of an opportunity in here if we can allow these religious-based health sharing organizations to flourish, that people who now are scrambling around trying to figure out a way to deal with Obamacare and get out from under that mandate, they have a very viable opportunity here, which currently under Kentucky law is illegal, and so the law needs to be changed.
So you clearly believe that there needed to be some addressing of the health care issues confronting the country. It's just
sure. No, the status quo is horrible, but we have to take a step back historically and look at why the status quo is so bad. And I think you can draw a very straight line from what these questions are, the problems in our healthcare crisis, to the beginning of healthcare regulation by the government.
Do you think it is reasonable to expect that there could be as you said, a repeal and replace effort, or do you think this is going to be much more piecemeal than that?
Well, I'm again frustrated by the national conversation on that. The Republican nominee for president has been pretty clear that he likes a lot of what exists in Obamacare, and until we get away from the idea of government coming in and fixing health care by having more government activity, when in reality it's that government activity that is causing all the problems. We've got to get them to step back, take a big step back before we're going to see any improvement at all. And that's where these religious health sharing organizations really kind of crack that door open, because they are, when they function properly, when they're allowed to exist on the state level, which a lot of the other states do allow them, when that's allowed to happen, they're providing better services to people. They're providing services at substantially lower cost It's an amazing process and something that really we need to be looking at.
A red-hot congressional race in the 6th District here in Central Kentucky, and Congressman Chandler will be our guest next week, and his challenger Andy Barr was with us a couple of weeks back. Will you support Andy Barr for Congress, even though he will not call himself a Tea Party candidate?
Sure. No, we've had the same conversation about on the federal level with the president, and I hope to see more of candidates like this coming to and speaking directly to the Tea Party issues. They don't necessarily have to buy a T-shirt or claim to be a Tea Party candidate, but we're not going to fix the problems that exist in our country with little tiny baby steps. We're going to have to push really hard and move things toward free markets and free people, and so it's a lot of that's up to those candidates. But yeah, that door is open. Those conversations need to happen.
David Adams from the Kentucky Tea Party movement, thanks for coming. We appreciate it.